All right, today we are diving into something really special. It's a short film that takes a myth, a story way older than civilization, and smashes it together with the absolute newest in filmmaking technology. We're talking ancient spirits meets artificial intelligence, and how one creator used AI as, well, more of a creative partner than just a tool. So the film kicks off with this line, spoken by our narrator, Clara May. And right off the bat, she yanks us out of our world and into something primal, something ancient. She's not just telling us a story, she's basically unearthing a legend, one that was around long, long before anyone even dreamed of inventing a camera. Okay, here's the game plan for this breakdown. First, we're going to dig into the ancient tale that's at the heart of the film. Then, we'll pull back the curtain on the modern day magic, the AI tools and the specific process that brought this whole vision to life. And finally, we'll talk about what it all means when these two worlds collide. So let's kick things off with the story itself, which, believe it or not, starts by introducing us to a very unusual guide. Meet Clara May, the wolf woman. And right away, she just shatters the fourth wall. She looks right at us and says she's a construct. She's not an actress playing a part, she is the part, born from prompts, from pixels, and pure imagination. It's a brilliant way to set up the whole theme of the film, that line between what's real and what's created. It's getting really, really blurry.
And Clara May gives us this crucial little nugget of info right up front. She's basically warning us that this movie magic isn't easy. It's not some simple one-click thing. No, it's a complicated, layered process. It takes a ton of work and a real understanding of the tools to make a story like this actually come alive.
Okay, so we've met our narrator. Now let's turn to the story she's telling. This wild myth about a curse that goes back further than pretty much anything we know. So, here's the lowdown on this ancient horror story. It starts with these angels called the Watchers who, well, fell from grace because of their desire for earthly women. Their kids? They were the Nephilim, these massive giants who just devoured everything and threw the whole world into chaos. So, a massive flood gets sent to wipe the slate clean. But here's the thing. While their bodies were washed away, their angry, restless souls, they stuck around, just desperate to find a new host. And this is where the story flips what we think we know about werewolves on its head. We always connect this stuff with the full moon, right? But this version says, nope, the moon's innocent. She was just a silent witness up there, reflecting all the horror but not actually causing any of it. And here it is, the final twist that ties it all together. One of those wandering ancient spirits, it found a host in a woman. See? This isn't just some random myth Clara May is telling us. It's her origin story. She's directly connected to that very first curse. And this is the pivot. We've got this rich, dark folklore. Fallen angels, ancient souls. It's epic stuff. But the real question is, how on earth do you take a story like that and actually make it into a film using technology that's just a few years old? And that question leads us right out of the ancient world and into the modern one, into the filmmaker's digital workshop, where we get to meet the person behind the prompts. So, meet Zed, the creator. He basically framed this entire project as one big experiment. He wanted to see how far he could push the latest AI video models, starting with the most basic of commands, a prompt. But here comes the reality check. The first results were not magical at all. Zed is super blunt about it. The quality was, in his words, terrible. So this wasn't a case of just typing in a story and poof, out comes a finished film. Nope. This was just the start of a much, much more complex technical challenge.
So, if the first results were so bad, how did he get to the finished film? Well, that's where this really clever, multi-layered AI workflow comes in. And like the subtitle says, it's not as complex as you might think. The solution was this pretty ingenious three-step process. Instead of just taking that low-quality video, Zed essentially laundered the footage through different AIs. First, he broke the bad video down into individual still frames. Then, he used AI to upscale each one of those frames to a higher quality. And finally, he fed those new high-res images back into an AI video model to generate a brand new, much cleaner shot. And here's a super important piece of advice from Zed for anyone playing around in this space. There's no single best AI tool. It all changes depending on what you're trying to create. A model that's amazing for, say, epic landscapes might be awful for human faces. It's all about experimenting. And the military scene from the film is the perfect example of this in action. He used that re-rendering process to generate all the footage for that sequence. And even though he didn't have total control, it gave him enough different shots and camera angles that he could actually piece together a complete, dynamic action scene. It's incredible. Which brings us to what's really at the core of this whole project. This amazing fusion of ancient storytelling and absolutely cutting-edge technology. This slide just lays it all out so perfectly. I mean, think about it. The raw, powerful AI video models, they're like the fallen angels from the myth. The flawed, kind of chaotic first videos they spit out, that's the Nephilim. And that lingering curse, the spirit that's always looking for a host, that's basically prompt engineering. That constant cycle of trying to find just the right words to bring a clear vision to life. It's an ancient story structure, finding a brand new way to exist. And this is the big thought we're left with. As these tools get better and easier to use, the very definition of storytelling is changing. The barrier to making a film is no longer a big camera or a huge budget. It's just imagination and your ability to describe it. So it really makes you wonder, who's going to tell the next great stories? And what other ancient myths are they going to bring back to life?